You gotta accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative, and don't mess with Mr. In-Between. You gotta spread joy up to the maximum, bring gloom down to the minimum, have faith or pandemonium's liable to walk upon the scene. Accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative, and latch on to the affirmative, and don't mess with Mr. In-Between.
My name's Adam, and I've spent the last 20 years of my career leading, growing, and building companies and teams for lasting impact. It would be my honor to come alongside you and help you to do the same thing. Whether it's in the corporate world, a brand new small business startup, or a 100-year-old family business, I've seen it and I've led it. Starting with defining your purpose beyond profit, we unlock strategies across every part of your business so that we can arrive at what I call asymmetric endurance, allowing you to get your time back while the business continues to grow, succeed, and achieve its true purpose. If you're ready to build an unbreakable business, let's talk. Book 15 minutes with me today at kingdommindsetstrategies.com.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 23. And today's topic is the safety of real love. So, what if the highest form of love wasn't really excitement? It was safety. That's the topic that Jeff and I are going to talk about today. And we're going to start off with talking point number 1, Jeff, the sacred boring.
What does that mean?
Well, it means, ask your question, why is peace in love not enough? It isn't dull. Peace isn't dull. It can be divine. Now, what do you think we mean by that?
The sacred boring?
Mm-hmm.
I believe that there's some of us who are brought with that paradigm that unless something is chaotic, it's not exciting.
Exactly. I think many of us have been on that roller coaster.
Not me.
No.
No.
Okay.
I've come to recognize that chaos is not really fun. Chaos just makes more craziness, more angst, more of everything that is sometimes the non-essentials, right? What I mean by non-essentials on this point of view is that all of a sudden you're starting to get distractions. You start to get these little whispers that comes from maybe habits that came from decades ago, or behavior or the patterns that you created and have been following since you were a little kid because something caused you to believe that. So therefore, the aspect of boring is just simply saying sometimes it's just too quiet.
Or familiar. And we've talked about that before.
Familiarity.
What's that?
Familiarity.
Familiarity. Yes, because the subconscious wants to keep us safe. And familiarity, did I say that right? It's got a lot of syllables. Familiarity feels safe to us.
That's right.
That's why it's so hard to change in a lot of different things, because we want to do what is comfortable, what is safe. Now, many of us came from environments where our subconscious was taught a lot of chaos, friction, upheaval, drama was the norm.
Well, and the thing is that I think folks get confused with passion to drama. If there's not enough of that, then we're not really passionately into each other, or we're not really putting that kind of effort that is driving this craziness. And a lot of it, people, is the doo-doo crap that you get off TV and movies.
The doo-doo crap. Oh, it absolutely is. Yeah, the doo-doo crap. The programming, that's why they call it programming. right?
Yeah.
We've talked about
Yeah.
that. The television, the Disney, et cetera, programming of what romance is, what excitement
That's right.
is. This is all to sell tickets and really to brainwash your psyche is what it's all about. It's
That's
not typically a healthy personification of a healthy relationship. So, Jeff, let's talk about why safe love, which is the topic of
Mhm.
today.
The safety of
Um,
love.
Why does it, to some of us, feel weird at first?
Why does it feel weird?
Sure. If we're
Okay.
raising our level of consciousness and going, okay, I want to enter into, the peace and sanctuary of safe love, not chaotic, dramatic.
Right. Let's take it all the way back down to the fundamental basics and things of that nature. Of course, the serenity of love, being serene, is not taught to us. It's actually taught maybe if you go to a church, maybe if you have a matronly figure in the family, like a grandmother or something that is a little bit more removed. And the reason why I bring this up is parents tend to be sometimes on two sides of the road. One side is, oh, I want to be friends with my child, which is no. We'll get into
I
that.
made that mistake.
Yeah. And the other side is, I'm not going to let my child hurt there, so therefore I will be the ultimate disciplinarian, and we're going to make this child fearful of me so I can make sure that this child would be controlled and safety. And as child, we grow up then to adults thinking those things are normal. So therefore, there's a certain protective fear. Oh, we can't do that because dad or mom always said this, or we can't do that because of I've seen this, exhibited in a certain way. And you're not using anybody's experience. You're purely using your feedback on certain things that you've given or certain things you've been viewing that programmed you.
What was programmed exactly? Yeah. And you'll hear me talk about that, being a hypnosis practitioner, NLP practitioner.
Mhm.
But the good news is that can be uninstalled and reinstall the truth of what a healthy, safe relationship, because we look for the familiar, whether it was, chaos, physical, emotional, and other abuses, abandonment, whatever the issues were in your life story, your subconsciously, it's running as software in the background, will seek out. It starts with thoughts, then it's feelings, and then it's actions, which are driving your life and your relationship. So when you do come to the point where you say, you know what, I am worth it. I do want to have a peaceful, loving, safe relationship. It feels much better. But in the beginning, as we just talked about, it will feel awkward. Again, like the first time you learned to ride a bike or to drive a car or to do anything, it was awkward. You had to fall down or hit the brake or do something and start again and do it again until pretty soon you were basically hypnotized into an auto comfortable, mindset. The reality is that we are in a hypnotic state many times in our waking lives.
Really?
How many times have you been in a car? I had this happen just the other day, and you're zoning out. You're thinking about whatever you're thinking. Now, I try to do my 4 square breathing when I'm driving. It's my quiet space time where I can reset my nervous system. And if you want more information on that, shoot me a line. I will send you directions.
Comment.
Comment. I'm sorry, not shoot me a line on a comment on the podcast, and I'll send you that 4 square breathing. However, just the other day, I was driving and I was deep in thought, not doing my 4 square breathing, and I completely zoned out on where I was going.
Well, that's healthy, isn't it?
And where I was for just a fraction of a second. But that's the mind going into, did I have to consciously go, turn the car this way, stop at this stoplight, turn the wheel this way? No, I just did it on auto, running in the software in the background. That's a form of hypnotization. Same as, watching television. And we've talked about that programming. So, unlearning the addiction to chaos, Jeff, as we said, it can be challenging, but it's doable. One awareness at a time.
Well, it's about being aware. First
Yes.
and foremost is knowing your patterns not serving you. So that's the first part of recognition that must come to you consciously. You must, I think, if you want to break out of this habit of thinking that, safety of the love is protecting, or safety of love is to receive a certain way, and then ultimately you're still not getting what you think you're getting out of the relationship, simply just stop at that moment and start back to the origin. What I mean by that is start from the fundamental basic starting point of how this relationship started, where has it gone and propelled itself, and then ultimately where am I at right now? You
Perfect.
taking index in
Yes.
so-called inventory of it. Yeah.
Perfect. And I like how you put that way, Jeff, because it really is, safety isn't a one-time deal.
No.
It can be daily. It can be in the moment, the next thought, the next conversation. But it really starts with your inner dialogue, what you're telling yourself. Emotional trust is a daily choice.
Yes.
And, again, repetition is the mother of all skill.
That's right.
And to rewire, you will rewire and refire, but you need to do it at least 21 times or more. So again, I think, being intentional and raising your level of consciousness for that.
And then once you recognize what you're doing about the repetition aspect of it is you have to make your steps. What I do normally when I'm making steps is I'm going to make bullet points. I'm going to make key bullet points that I'm going to pay attention to. And why am I paying attention to these bullet points? Well, because these are possibly the things that I've never used before, but yet I have heard over and over again that is successful in relationship. And this is one of the key components of it. So whatever those things may be for you, everybody's a little bit different. Everybody's aptitude and experience has been different. So I'm going to just throw something out very simply so that way we would all know. Okay. The safety of love. Let's say whispering to each other in a moment of togetherness. Well, I'm not talking about just an intimacy point of view in the bedroom. I'm talking about, are you holding hands? Are you looking at each other? And are you conversing and communicating on a normal, regular basis this way? Okay. A lot of couples do this when they're dating. When they're, now we're infatuated. We're falling in love. Now we're in love. So we're still looking. Now we're getting closer, right? But what's funny is that once that shine starts to wear off because of, life, but because of time moves on, all of a sudden I realize, hey, what you yell at me for? Oh, I'm eating all your candy. You didn't save me any cookies, and all these little things you start to nitpick. You start to go, well, I don't quite like that. In opposed to having that communication and that same closeness that you had before all this started, all of a sudden that starts to dissipate and go away. Why? Because the effort was changed. The intention changed. The so-called the complacency start to come creeping in slowly. In that, all of a sudden that rule of thumb and the normalcy start to sway to these non-negotiables and goes away into non-existence. And what I mean by now where it's going to is it's going to a pool of serves nothing to you or your relationship. And how does that happen? It happens because you're not paying attention anymore. You're just going through the motions. And if you're going through the motions like, oh, today's date night. Oh, yeah, we're going to go to our favorite restaurant. I'm going to look at her across the table. And, opposed to being in the moment, being in love, being really thriving.
Present.
Yeah, really thriving of togetherness. You're thinking, creme brulee was good last time, but today I got to have the cheesecake. Oh, yeah, I love you, honey. You notice the effort changed. And the effort changed because the normalcy and the complacency in all this over and over, you're just now mailing it in. Or in the other case, phoning it in.
Phoning
right?
it in. Yeah. Or looking at your phone. Those are super great points. And, what comes to my mind is creating space,
Mhm, mhm.
creating, a respite in rest
Yeah.
that becomes the language of love. And not, interpreting that as tension or, somehow that you need to
Right.
earn your love from that person. But you
Wow.
feel like you're home. So I think the foundation, we've talked about foundation principles in past episodes, but the foundation of trust, I think, has to be built along the way to feel comfortable to rest in that space of love and not feel, oh, it's got to be, excitement and tension and, angst masked as romance. That you really can connect
That's
deeper
right.
with each other in quiet moments.
That's right. Those are things that's not serving you, even though they may be your habits. They may be the things that you're very comfortable with because it's been with you a long time. It's been in your previous marriages. It's been in your previous relationships. And the key word here, previous. Why are you doing the same thing? Why are you keep on doing this and driving people away? Who's the last person actually sat in front of you and say, I'm leaving because of these things you're doing to me? And then you go, well, maybe you're just not for me. Okay, well, there's a thought. How about, what am I doing to you? What happened? What am I doing that you're reflecting on this? You're no longer feeling the safety of our circle, our love, our communication. So to me, the key on this particular moment is that you have to flush that out in this so-called discussion, in this communication level, that it's going to be somewhat uncomfortable. It's not going to be yelling, because yelling is very comfortable for some folks, and yelling is very emotional dynamically there. So
But it serves
yelling,
nothing, and it's dark energy.
it's not.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nobody listens.
It's destructive. That's really what it is. And if you think that, okay, if I can be a little bit more aggressive, that shows my heart. Who's it showing to? Yourself? You're not showing it to your significant other. You're driving them away with so-called aggression. Everybody following me on this? If you're sitting there really aggressive and you're thinking you're being passionate, you're missing the point. Because nobody on the other side of the table is thinking that you're being aggressive is meaning that's passionate, that you love our relationship. That's why you're yelling at me. Nobody thinks that way.
No, I think
Well,
everyone
unless-
shuts down. I think everyone shuts down.
Except for the small group that it's going, oh, I was raised by a family that yelled at me all day and I was abused all my life. So you yelling at me makes me think you love me.
And,
Yes,
and that's
there is
probably
people
not
of that.
even articulated. That's done on a subconscious level. So if
Yeah.
you find yourself doing that you're
Right.
habitually doing that, self-sabotaging your relationship,
Yeah.
poking the tiger, if you will, to get into those volatile, angry moments where really nobody's listening. But
right.
again, on the subconscious level, the
Mhm.
operating system in the background is saying, this is love. Yep, this is what it feels like. This is safe. And your beautiful, brilliant subconscious is always trying to keep you safe.
Yeah.
So on a subliminal subconscious level, it thinks it's keeping you safe.
No question.
Yeah.
No question.
But only you can, take the deep dive in the self-reflection to go, yeah, what keeps repeating in my relationships? Where can
Well-
I change? How can I make a difference? Because I'm not really happy
Yeah.
with this.
Well, the first thing you have to recognize for your relationship is it the most important thing in your life? Have you honored it that way? Have you put your relationship up on a level that it cannot be reckoned with? Anything
It's not disposable.
or anyone. That's right. It is not a disposable thing that you have all around you. It certainly isn't something that you can get lazy on. Now, I'll promise you this. If you ever find yourself slacking and when you do it, If you know it, then correct it. Do not sit there and go, I'm just, goofing and slacking. And I know I should have done this. I know I should have done that. If you already know, why are you acting this way? See, there's a misbalance between the emotional, the spiritual, and the physical here. The balance of the mind, body, and spirit is extremely important when it comes down to this. In the sense of the safety of the love, it's the safety of the circle and the safety within itself. And if you can't get this aligned correctly, something is going to always dominate and push you off balance, especially when it comes down to mentally on that emotional level. Why? Because we're in a third density, matrix here. We're in a world where emotional outburst is often associated with passion and love. Just watch any TV shows, any rom-coms, any of those things that kind of make you go,
Absolutely. Gosh, we watch them all the time. So I want to share something with you. This is right in line with what you're talking
All
about,
right.
Jeff. When you feel emotionally unsafe, your nervous system is constantly on alert. Okay.
Mhm.
You're scanning for the least little bit of tone shift, inconsistencies,
Yeah.
a slight sign of withdrawal. We've all been there. You're
Withdrawal.
translating silence,
Mhm.
and we've both done this as well, as punishment, and you're interpreting pauses
Well, wait,
as rejection.
I don't
So-
use silence as a so-called.
No, but I have,
I know you do.
and you've interpreted it. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not pointing fingers here, because that's emotionally immature to withdraw, and I know that.
Then why'd you do it? Really now? The look was just like, I
and-
do it because
And
you
that's
were
a,
an
and that's
asshole.
a good thing. That's a good question that you ask me.
Yeah.
It's one thing. First, we have to take the veil off. Secondly, we have to be aware of it. Once we're aware of it, it doesn't mean we snap our finger and we're perfect. We're perfectly imperfect. Okay.
Hmm.
We'll do it less. We'll do it for shorter time. Eventually, we won't do it at all once we've raised our level of consciousness
Hmm.
in that area. Okay.
Okay.
So, but in these things that I just described, there's no space to soften. There's no space to exhale or simply be in the relationship. But real love does. It is safe. It gives you back the ability and the space
Right.
to rest.
I do absolutely agree with that 100%. The safety of it is so nurturing and so enveloping. And it's like wearing love is a big fuzzy sweater because it's so warm and inviting. And all these things that in your consciousness and your so-called spiritual fulfillment.
Absolutely. The most
Yeah, that's where the safety
deepest
really comes deep.
part of you, deepest God particle
Right.
of who you are,
Right.
is so nurtured. So I'm going to flip the coin on this a little bit and ask, is there
Wow.
anyone out there, male or female?
Yeah.
I think we all struggle with judging, comparing and judging.
Here we
Jeff and
go
I-
now.
Jeff and I have a lot of levity on that.
You are such a.
Deepak Chopra on a show we saw. It says,
It was Deepak on Oprah. That's
was
what
it
it was.
Deepak on Oprah?
Yeah, and Oprah's out there. Wah, 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 and then,
But this guy in the audience says he asked a question, and Deepak, and his whole thing was about judging, and he went to answer him, and he said, "Well, I could tell you this, but then I'd be judging you."
no, he actually said it. He actually
he
went. You
did.
should. Da.
And
But
now I'm judging you.
Yeah, now as you see that I'm sitting here judging
I'm
you,
judging you.
then he laughs. So that shows us that the human behavior has that mechanism that we may not necessarily mean to judge anybody,
Absolutely.
but we're just maybe thinking that we're doing a critic or a critique that's going to help, but it doesn't come across like that if the receiver wasn't ready for it.
Absolutely. And there's a double-edged sword on that, because I've had to work really hard on myself, catching myself silently, judging someone. Then I'm judging them, and then I speak to them like, oh my gosh, what a great connection, and I shouldn't have judged them, and why am I judging them anyway? Part of that helps us It helps us discern danger and
Mhm.
lots of other things. Critical thinking helps us in our business.
Mhm.
I see the positive side on my businesses, having an eye for detail and judging and comparing and staring and analyzing, but not in relationships.
Mm.
In relationships, especially with your significant other, I think we need to follow the Bible and judge lest ye be judged, and really accept. So
Right.
if you're in a relationship where you feel you have to earn your value,
Mhm.
well, something's wrong right there. You
Mhm.
need to have a come to Jesus talk with your significant other,
Mhm.
because you're perfectly imperfect. It's you both are. You really just need to communicate on how you want to interact
Mhm.
with each other, but
Mhm.
who is one or the other to be judging you?
Mhm.
And you should feel welcomed and free and non-judged by your significant other. What do you think about that?
Well, I think judging is something that we think from first and foremost that our opinion matters. Okay. So, in regards to in your relationship, what is the dynamics of it? You have to recognize that after a while, if it's not contributing to a positive input, then it just becomes nagging. It becomes talking down to. So you have to understand the dynamics of how this plays in your relationship of regards to how much is too much and how much is helpful. That's why the deep communication level is extremely important in the
And
daily
construction
connection.
criticism, don't you think, is a little different than judging? So I'm
Depends.
not,
It depends on how I receive it. If I'm doing something, a task, let's say if I did a task every day that's similar, and I heard this so-called critique to help every day,
yeah, that's nagging. Yeah,
yeah, eventually I'm not going to see it that way.
right.
But at the same time, am I such a dunce that you have to tell me something about it every day that I'm not doing right or I'm doing I could be better? So there's the other side. Am I looking at I'm feeling bad because you're nagging at me of what I'm doing on this task. Now, am I revisiting this task of saying, am I doing my best? Is my best foot forward? Is my best effort? Is my best creativity? I have to question that. If I don't question that, and I only look at the partner of yak, 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 and you're pushing on me, and man, I'm so sick of your voice on just, then you see where that conflict can grow, and it could grow quick and fester into something that it's not even recognizable. And this is where it destroys what you've built in a very short time. Well, to stop this to ever fester, first and foremost, look within yourself, look at what the critiquing is about. Not about you, not about what she's doing to me, not about what she's saying about me, but what she's saying about this act of this task.
So I want to interject there because
You're kicking.
I truly believe that on some levels, when people criticize or are overly critical, it's really, a reflection of their inner self, what they feel of their self, their insecurities of themselves. That can sometimes be the case.
Well, that's right. But the thing is, how do one individuals always be able to identify that, oh, I have self-esteem issue. I'm very insecure. Nobody on certain levels would actually admit that just because they're insecure. Right.
Sure, of course.
So that's, and also they may not even know it.
Well, until again, you self-examine, and only you can, look inside yourself and see, are there patterns here? Am I pushing people away because I'm too critical, or relationships away because I'm too critical and I'm always critiquing and nagging?
That's right. Yeah.
And, I just keep thinking of defending your life. And that is, his beautiful answer there. And that is, just know I'm doing the best I can. I'm doing the very best I can.
Yeah. And sometimes that's enough. And sometimes that's not enough.
Sure.
It depends on what you're in, what you are doing.
Sure. And there's ways. Every couple is different in terms of how they receive and react and deliver.
Yeah.
and there's nagging ways of giving criticism, and then there's would you mind some a helpful suggestion on maybe how to do this different or what have you.
No is
whatever
the answer.
Situation is no, and then
Leave me alone.
then you need to leave your ego at the floor.
That's right.
Or at the door.
If somebody don't want your help, don't think that you have to install your opinion into that situation. That's another thing about safety of love is you have to trust your partner here.
Sure.
Are you trusting your partner as much as you trust yourself? Because obviously you trust yourself more, or you wouldn't be sitting there forcing an opinion to someone else.
Absolutely. But I think it's important to feel in the relationship, either partner, that you don't have to perform to be worthy of being in the relationship.
Yeah.
Okay. This kind of love doesn't demand is some kind of a sizzling version of who you are to be loved. It makes room for that space, that tender, authentic, real space of the truth of who you both are.
Yeah. Yeah. No question. I hope everybody got something out of this episode, because this is something really dearly to us. The safety of love really means that, it comes down to is when you're in such a great relationship, there is such of a protective coating almost to the two of us, the envelopment of that nurturing, the safety of the security, those type of feelings. So wishing everybody the best. Do you have something you want to close this with?
I did. I had a little bit more, but we're running out of time. So what I'd like to close with is a reader letter.
Okay.
And it starts out, "Dear Kat and Jeff, I wanted to reach out because I just finished reading Miracles Online, and I honestly feel like something in me has started to heal. One line in particular echoing through me, quote, sometimes the most extraordinary kind of love is the one that finally lets you exhale."
Right.
I didn't even realize how much I've been holding my breath in relationships, in conversations, in the way I move through the world.
Right.
Your words made me realize that I've been so long confusing unpredictability with passion, as you talked about, Jeff,
Always.
and exhaustion with love.
Yeah.
So when I saw that your next episode is about the safety of real love, my whole body responded. I haven't even heard it yet, but I already know it's going to speak directly to a place in me that's been waiting to be seen. What you wrote and the way you two show up is helping me reimagine what love can look like, not just fiery or exciting, but calm, grounded, and true. I'm starting to believe I deserve a love that feels like home, and that's because of the work you guys are doing. Thank you for helping me see that safe love isn't settling, it's sacred. I'll be listening to the next episode with open heart, with gratitude, a healing heart. Thank you so much, Healing Heart. So it just warms our heart to hear that what we're doing resonates with you and that you enjoyed the book. I hope you're getting lots out of it. And I guess until next time.
Well, tell everybody, like and subscribe and share, right?
Yep.
To help us grow our podcast as well as our mission here. Our mission here is to help our world to understand great relationships, to start families and how to grow with a family, and definitely how to contribute to each other, into each other greatness. So all these things is what Miracles Online podcast is about. So hope you come back and, of course, like I say, comment and leave us stories. And
we'd love to share them. We share about love, marriage, commitment, and dating, of course, and online dating. We're going to have some topics coming up real soon because we've been kind of focusing on the marriage and commitment side, but we're going to go on to the online and the dating coming up here real soon.
Yeah,
so
we'll talk some about dating soon. So with that, thank you very much. We're going to play our new sponsor clip and play us out. He's our sponsor is Kingdom Mindset Strategies. So with that, we'll see you next time.
Well done. You've done something that most people only ever dream about. You've started and kept a business alive, and that's a huge achievement and one you should be proud of. Now, I want to help you make that business unbreakable. My name's Adam, and I've spent the last 20 years of my career leading, growing, and building companies and teams for lasting impact. Whether it's in the corporate world, a brand new small business startup, or a 100-year-old family business, I've seen it and I've led it. And what I've learned is building an unbreakable business often requires similar ingredients: clear financial insights, well-built systems, streamlined growth strategies, and optimized operations. Starting with defining your purpose beyond profit, we unlock strategies across every part of your business so that we can arrive at what I call asymmetric endurance, allowing you to get your time back while the business continues to grow, succeed, and achieve its true purpose. If you're ready to build an unbreakable business, let's talk. Book 15 minutes with me today at kingdommindsetstrategies.com.